Cosmo and I are here in Carpinteria. Oh, he's pulling me. All right, we'll walk and talk. We'll walk and talk. As I was saying, Cosmo and I are here in Southern California, Carpinteria State Beach, I think is what it's called. Carpinteria State Beach. So we've had a nice stay in Southern California, visiting my family. And we'll be back on the road before you know it. A couple more days, we'll hit the road and head over to Arizona. But I got this new microphone. I did want to try it out and see. Come on, Cosmo. Come on. See if I could tell a difference. Since I was visiting my aunt and uncle here in California, I had a few things sent ahead of me, which is a nice way to do it. And then when I got here, there was a light that I wanted for the van, a little USB light that has been handy near my coffee station, and a few other odds and ends, different step stool. Ooh, this could be hazardous. Different step stool for getting in and out of the van. The other one sort of failed. And this phone, so we'll see how that works out. Because I had a destination, it was possible to send these things ahead of myself and just say, be on the lookout for these boxes, hope it's not an inconvenience. And that worked out well. And while I was chatting with another van dweller, another van person, they said, well, they do the same thing, but they just send it ahead to the Amazon pickup stations. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. If you're not headed to visit anyone, or you don't have a destination. Hold on, I gotta untie the dog. Cosmo, I think one of these days I will try sending a couple items that I need ahead to an Amazon Dropbox and see how that works. But with that in mind, thinking about gear and solutions and things that you might need when you're on the road, I thought this might be a good week to talk about a few little odds and ends that have made my van living time a lot easier. I've talked about this before, but I love my little kettle, which is kept in place. The base is held there with some double-sided tape, has not come off yet. And I've been going in some pretty rough country. But anyway, I use this for oatmeal, grits, tea, coffee, hot water for cleaning, bathing. I just use this for so many things every day. It's been great. And at 1400 watts, it works really fast, and it's under 15 amps, so it doesn't blow any fuses. An accessory mirror for those pesky blind spots. I want this all the way to the right. So when I'm in the driver's seat, I can see everything outside the left side of the van, great. I can see everything behind me, great. But if I'm trying to turn left at an intersection and it's at a right angle or more acute than right angle, I can't see anything. I can't see on my right hand side. I can either ask Cosmo, whose reliability has been hit and miss, or I can jump out of my seat and try to be in the passenger seat and look over without having an accident, making sure I get it in park and everything. But this little mirror, which costs almost nothing, I think it was $6, makes all the difference. That allows me to see on those difficult angles. And since I don't have any cameras, or I didn't put a window into my slider, this was the solution. And I've driven all over the country, from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, and this has gotten me through all the traffic. This folding step has been a winner. I've gone through, this is my third choice. This is the third one that I've had. And this one, so far, it's been great. It really collapses nicely, and it holds a lot of weight, and it's really stable, and its height is almost half the distance from the ground to the floor of the van. This is a bad example because it's in sort of a low spot, but on a perfectly flat surface, it's about half the distance. So if you're doing it my way, or anything similar to my way, you get some kind of a blower / vacuum. This is a cheap blower vacuum deal off the internet, and I usually use the blower attachment most of the time because I will just blow out the floor and then blow out the cab, and that works really nice. It's much better than sweeping and much faster. An expanding shower bar. I'm going between the wheel wells with this expanding shower bar, and it keeps the camping gear from sliding forward when I stop. And I can still use the blower vac and clean around this thing. So I could build a divider under the bed to separate the camping gear from the rest of the cabin, but I want to be able to get in those boxes from inside if I want to, and I want to be able to clean easily. So an expanding bar like this worked just fine, and I suppose it would have many other applications if you didn't want to bolt something into the van, especially if you're going from one piece of sheet metal to the other, and you can't screw through this, or you're going to have screws sticking out of your van. So you might use it as a curtain rod. You might use it as for privacy behind the cab. There's a lot of things you could use that expanding rod for if you didn't want to fasten anything permanently. Fasteners and adhesives. So I'm talking about double-sided tape. I use this stuff all the time. All different types of magnets and hooks and Velcros and zip ties and bungees. You just can't have enough. I have a whole drawer dedicated to straps and hooks and little chains and clips, and you just can't have enough of them. Anything that's a USB powered device. Sometimes I use this little fan in the cab. Sometimes I use it when I'm cooking to blow out the exhaust. This is a great little USB light that I found with an articulating arm. So I can use this at my coffee station, but I can also shine this at my desk if I need it that way, or if I'm practicing the guitar. USB devices, you never have to worry about them using too much electricity. I keep these microfiber towels handy basically at all times. And I have a huge sack of them that I keep here. Use it all the time, cooking, cleaning. And these little microfiber towels, they wring out to the point of almost being dry. And they're super absorbent, and they pick up grease and stuff with no problem. And then I just toss them into my hamper. Gosh, at the end of the week, I probably wash, I don't know, probably 21 of those towels I wash every week. I probably use 3 a day, maybe more, but it doesn't matter. They're small, they're easy to clean, easy to dry, and they're cheap. So that's my solution for a whole bunch of other paper products that I might be using. A DC powered electric blanket. So I'm not gonna take the stuff off the bed, but this is the plug for the DC electric blanket. I put in this marine style receptacle with the blanket in mind, and that's all you have to do. It goes underneath the bedding, and on some nights it is a real lifesaver. It's great. A cheap toilet seat that's made to go on top of a bucket. This was, I don't know what, $5, and no excuse not to have that. Replaceable caps for your water jug. If you're doing the 5-gallon jugs that you fill up the filtered water like I am, These make it so much easier when you go in to fill it up, and you don't have to carry it upright or slosh it around or be careful. You just pop these on. They actually stay. You don't have to twist anything. This is worth every penny. A dongle. You should have a dongle that does different types. So I have all types of different gadgets: USB, mini USB, USB-C, Apple devices. I don't have, but this actually covers all of those in one handy package. And also, if you have an outlet like this, it'll take care of your AC power needs. And this one also does USB and USB-C. Some sleeping gloves. These are made for runners. They're just very light synthetic material, and sleeping gloves are a must. Very comfortable, and some nights they are necessary. I also like to have a small grabber tool. What do I need this for? Well, sometimes I go around and pick up trash just to be a good citizen. Sometimes I use it to pick up small branches, debris, pine cones, and things to burn in my BioLite stove, or things that I might want to use, anything that I might want to use for my little, you know how I like the miniature campfires. This bag is where I keep my screen doors. I have one screen door that goes on the back opening and one screen door that goes on the slider. And these were inexpensive. They just go on with magnets and you open it up. One of them you open up with magnets and one of them you open up through a zipper. But very inexpensive Amazon item. And you can buy really nice ones that'll probably last you forever and stay in place permanently. You don't have to take them in and out. But at the very least, you want to have some of these guys. Be sure that you get the one that goes on your model and trim level, or at least double check the measurements to make sure it's going to be too big rather than too small. If you are showing media from your phone, like I am, first you need to have a phone that's USB-C out jack is capable of doing that, which is one reason I bought the Samsung, even though I'm not a big fan of the Samsung. But because I have this cheap cable, this goes from my phone USB-C and goes into my TV's HDMI input. No other wires for audio or wireless connection, nothing. Just goes from this straight from the phone into there. And if I download at a high quality through, say, Amazon Prime, it comes out great. It looks really good on the big screen. And now it's time for a Van Nomad hot take. Hot take for camping. I do not know why more campers do not bring a set of loppers. These are not collapsible because I'm van lifing, but they do make collapsible loppers. And anybody who's been preparing firewood when they're camping knows that you need to have a saw and you need to have a hatchet. Well, if you try to cut the smaller pieces with a hatchet, the pieces just go flying everywhere and you wander around trying to find them again. And if you are using a saw, you are frustrated. It's bending on you. You can't seem to hold it right. You can't, you put your foot on it and it keeps moving around. Loppers are the answer. I mean, these can probably cut, I don't know, something up to 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches in diameter. And so much faster and easier than trying to break up that small material with a hatchet, or batoning with your buck knife. Just the smallest little cord or plug or cap or hook can really improve your situation in the van. You can have something that's been floating around underfoot, rolling and giving you grief for weeks, and then you find the perfect little fastener and you say, don't have to deal with that anymore. That coffee cup will no longer be homeless. And really makes a big difference. Come, buddy. Let's go this way. All right, it's important that I keep it down here. Cosmo and I are trespassing. This is a private park. This is private property. I'm in a place called Villas Calabasas. This is just outside of Los Angeles. Actually, it's in Los Angeles County. And as I was walking through this private park, I'm trespassing. I walked right past the guards. Nobody said anything. I must look like I have money. Anyway, if they catch you at Villas Calabasas without a current lake tag, it shows you're not in the community, and it says that they throw you out. Just like the Big Lebowski getting thrown out of Malibu.